Good day and good evening, and welcome back to Solo Challenge Stream with me, Caetsu Chaiji, but you can just call me Kai. So, tonight, the game plan is attempt to solo Mistwake, synced. And as usual, I will be attempting with Warrior, simply because it has, in my opinion, the greatest capacity to do so. And my testing here is, can it be done? Period, and not necessarily can it be done with so-and-so job or so-and-so job. Otherwise, I'd probably try with Paladin. However, before I get too caught up in the moment, I actually need a third friend to help me inside, because I can't queue alone into the duty like that. I actually need 3 friends to help me in. So if there's anyone that has time, that has Mistwake unlocked and is on the EU region, I would very much appreciate the help. Now, in the meantime, while I figure that out, hey Teldemar, hey Weird Cat, hey Seros, hey Surveillance Burb, hey Agent Monica, hey Ilya, hey Zav, hey Jules, Jewel Tones, hey Tomer, hey Cody Davis, hey Bob, hey Shackman, hey Milo, and hey Ardell. Hope you're all doing very well. And hey Sylvia, hope you're doing well as well. And hey Rythian, hope you're doing well. And yeah, in the meantime also, see, after if the first boss doesn't destroy all rocks by itself, this shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, that's like the big one. That's the one where it's like, if that's a problem, then we have a problem. If that's not a problem, then the next thing on the list is there any stack markers that are gonna cause problems? If not, we're fine. Zayivis and Koi Y and Bronzo, hope you're doing well. Valence says EU sounds nice considering all the connection errors in NA. Yeah. Hopefully that gets solved soon. Oh, that's fantastic, Koi Y. That's very convenient. What? The real live thing is active? Fantastic, I'll watch that instead. Zaylana, hope you're doing well. And that's nice, Bronto. I think Agent Monica might be on the way, assuming you haven't already started the travel as well, Zaf. But yeah, usually how it goes with these solo challenges is a boss might have a mechanic that is a problem alone. And that problem can range... Oh, Zaf just got here. Fair enough. I will grab Zaf. Thank you everyone for helping. Oh, Agent Monica also just arrived. I asked for 1 help and now I have double, possibly triple help, because Cat is also available. Thank you so much, guys. Let me explain anyway. There might be a problematic mechanic, and those usually range from, no, wait, never mind, that's completely irrelevant. Like, for instance, the second boss in Meso Terminal, where like 3 of the bosses kinda just glitched out and just forgot how to do mechanics altogether. And other times it can be something that is a huge problem, such as the first boss in Felcourt of Troya, where... Did you know that the first boss in Felcourt of Troya has a Harden Rage? I'm sure that if you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, is that a Harden Rage? Yes, it's a Harden Rage. And it actually not only one-shots you, but if it didn't, the boss just casts it again with no cast time if it doesn't. Like as your screen fades to black, you see the boss like spamming the move. So no way. It's just over if you can't do it, and it's a pretty tight check. Also, hey Kat and Joshua, hope you're doing well. The next thing is usually, you know, general damage output. Does the boss hit very hard with its auto attacks? Usually no. And if not that, then it's more likely that the stack markers are problems rather than tank busters. Most of the time. Yeah, I don't know. So my expectation is for the first boss in Mistwake is option 1 is that the gaze thing that you have to hide for is HP threshold related. I've heard some people suggest that, but I will also say that it looks more like a boss rotation. Like it looks like it just loops and it hits it every so often. If that's the case, then it doesn't matter how many rocks I break. For the most part, I should have enough. The second option is that it is a rotational thing, and then the question is whether the boss will deliberately leave one up. So I should make a very strong point of not hitting any of the rocks myself, because who knows, maybe there's a specific one that the boss is going to try and be careful with. Also, Tanuki, hope you're doing well. And Mizunashia, hope you're doing well as well. The two other bosses don't really have anything aside from maybe a stack marker. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. So the way that it works, just as a, just to reiterate as usual, is I will enter the duty. And once I'm inside, you are not only welcome to leave, but preferably you leave immediately. You're of course welcome to write a message or something before you leave, but you kind of have to leave, because if I'm fighting something with a party bonus, I mean, it doesn't really invalidate the run if I get like hit once or attack once while I have it, but that's technically not a solo run, even though you're like away, like you're not participating in the battle. So you kind of have to go. And then that's pretty much it. A detail that some might be worried about is when you leave a duty that you have like a full team for, and you chose the duty specifically, then there is no punishment for leaving. On the other hand, if you queued for something, even if you have the full party yourself, if you queue for Expert Roulette with a 4-man pre-made, and you have someone leave, the first person to leave will still get punished and be blocked from Duty Finder for 30 minutes. I'm going to be playing Paladin, Tanuki. Also, welcome to the Cult of the Pink, Koiwai. Thank you so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the emotes. Right, let's get it on and get it done, or at least try to. And hey, Medusa, hope you're doing well. Thank you, everybody. For a second, I was like, wait, where's the pack? Where are the enemies? The main reason, something that is perhaps worth mentioning, is that the main reason why Warrior is such a strong pick for soloing dungeons at this time, considering that that Warrior's like self-healing is maybe not as insane once you're on a single target boss fight or something, is that Warrior between all the tanks is much more capable of just giga pulling as if they had a full party or like a light party as normal and just get away with it. Whereas the other tanks, their self-healing doesn't quite scale as well, so they can't, not at least not to the same degree. So they either have to take way longer with every pack, or they have to split it up in more packs. So for the other tanks, it's a lot more like they might be better at handling the boss fight, but they have less time to do it because they will have to spend more time on the packs. But that's pretty much where the advantage / disadvantages like end. And Warrior's not that huge on, like, of a monster at this stuff as you might think. Especially not at this level range. And now we have to run for a bit. Because I ran out of defensive cooldowns. I just realized that I forgot the speedrun timer again. Sorry. It's like a coin toss whether I remember. So, dude, that's true, but people are sometimes curious how long each section took. And speaking of which, the length of this pull, man. These are some chunky boys. It is also in comparison to all the other Dawntrail max level dungeons I've done. I'm doing this in, you know, crafted gear, and my weapon is Savage from the last tier, so like my average item level is not as overwhelming as it perhaps normally is when I do this. Yeah, so the packs might take a little longer. But for the most part, I thought I should have sprinted back earlier. For the most part, I don't think it'll make that much of a difference. If there's a mechanic that can't be survived, I'll die anyway. And if the duty timer is the problem, we'll probably figure out where, like, we will probably be able to estimate whether the item level was the problem, and it probably isn't. Are these gem keepers ranged? Zay Rash and Stroimex, hope you're doing well. And Nimrio, hope you're doing well as well. Oh boy, it's almost the exact same pack as I just fought. Really? Fantastic. We replaced 2 dudes with 4 other dudes. Say boat, hope you're doing well. I should have waited a little bit. Did I not use Damnation yet? I thought I had. Now we run. The reason why we run with a full HP bar is because sometimes there's a surprise ranged mob or something, and if you run when you're low already, and then you discover that, well, then it's just over. What's usually eligible for soloing? Usually tanks. Like, usually it has to be tanks when you reach a certain point. In A Realm Reborn, there's a lot more variety in options, because tank busters are not so strong that a healer, for instance, can't take one with a little barrier or something. Like, barrier healers are certainly very viable when you're in A Realm Reborn levels. But you know, the less tank you're choosing, the more likely it is that you'll have a really, really hard time. The tanks generally have a really nice time. Like if you start with like low level dungeons, you'll find that a gunbreaker can solo most of the like dungeons below level 26 in only a shirt. Like you don't even need gear to do it. You just show up as you are and it's mostly fine. Say not the wheel. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, it's very random what, like, there isn't really exactly a pattern to what dungeons can or cannot be soloed. For instance, as Avis mentioned, Amarot, the second boss, has a Hardened Rage. There's also just some random, like, optional dungeons that have Hardened Rages and such. And some of them can be beaten, some of them can't. Hey, Turtleneck, hope you're doing well. In a world where this rock stays, wouldn't that be crazy hype? That's very strong for a dungeon tank buster. But I don't want to use anything bigger, because I can't remember if this boss has a stack marker. And if it does have a stack marker, then I need Damnation for that. There it is! Now the question is whether that's on a 2-minute loop. It didn't do that much damage with my mitigation, so it might be perfectly fine with, well, my favorite rock is gone, guys. Well, the good news is we'll figure out very quickly whether this is just not possible, and if it keeps going like this, it won't even be a maybe. It'll be a obviously you can't. Wait, it's using Earthquake twice. Does it normally do that? Okay, hope you're doing well. Hey Lisa, hope you're doing well as well. And a little bit of a problem here is that I have to use Bloodwetting for my health. So I sometimes just won't have it for the mitigation. I expected that to do more damage. We have 3 rocks left and 2/3 of the battle. No rocks got deleted this time. It's possible that some of the rocks are just deliberately not in the potential random spawns of AoEs. The room white thing, Doronek, petrifies me. And if I'm petrified, then Earthquake one-shots me. So essentially, it one-shots. And then it's just over. What's the deal with the piece of gear on tanks that take 2 gear slots? Well, it's a helmet and a hat, or boots and shoes. It kind of makes sense when you look at what the thing looks like, right? And mages have that too, yeah. They have like a raincoat with a hood. Halfway? Helping at it. You know, that's a good point, Milo. Hey, what if it took up 2 head slots? See, the trick is, it's not a DPS check. Can you see how the boss stopped breaking rocks? So it's not truly a DPS check. However, if you don't play nice, it becomes a DPS check. I wonder if some of the rocks are unbreakable. Based on the fact that I've seen it go down to 1 small rock remaining, I'm willing to suggest that no, that's not the case. I feel like the stack is weaker than the tank buster. As I answer, hope you're doing well. And Red Master, hope you're doing well as well. One-third remains. The Sirens, hope you're doing well. Yeah, exactly. If you goof it up and get rid of all the rocks, then he's just gonna kill you. Which is why the whole premise of whether it's doable or not ultimately boils down to, will he remove all the rocks? And if he does, will he stop doing the light thing? And the answer is, he doesn't kill these 3 rocks, apparently. About a 6th left to go. Nay, zip zap. Hope you're doing well. Oh. each time I don't have mitigation, I'm expecting it to do way more damage, and then it just doesn't. I just used Holmgang there for nothing. Nothing! As I Steve, hope you're doing well. It's very possible that with like a full 4 players, it's a lot harder to keep them all alive, but I would also say that just based on personal experience, that a lot of the time players can just get very careless and just be like, oh, whoops, sorry, I guess, question mark. And most of the time it doesn't matter, so they don't learn. Now there's just the rest of the dungeon. First boss dead in under 19 minutes. You get careless until there's 2 rocks left. Right! The thing is, you might go like, well, I mean, there's plenty of rocks, I could let one go. And then you realize that your whole party thought the exact same thing. Well, I don't need to be so careless, there's so many. I don't need to be so careless, I don't need to be worried so much, there's so many. And then suddenly there's 2 rocks left in the first wave. And you're like, oh, that's why we have to be careful. Does anything in this pool have a mini tank buster or something? Teehee! Oops. I should have used Rampart sooner there, but I think I'll actually get rewarded for it in the end. The greed! I was a little late with Damnation there. Let's see if we can make it back around to Damnation in time. Sorry, Bloodwetting in time. We can. Now, I ended up finishing that sequence on the wrong side. Because I did Damnation a little bit wrong, I think if I'd done it right, I could have looped back to Rampart. You should have been a little slower on just smashing Thrill of Battle. You'll almost have a few kills, and then it'll be a lot easier. You know, this pull would be harder if that rock didn't repeatedly waste so much time on that frontal cone I can just step aside from. Like, each time it does that, it's not hitting me. And that's actually that's a classic solo challenge trick. Is if an enemy is spending time on avoidable attacks, they're actively wasting time. They're not attacking you. Auto attacks are usually better. Because I can't dodge those. I would say not the wheel, that considering how many chances the boss had to break the rocks, I can't possibly imagine that it was just really, really random chance. Because those 3 rocks, like, it broke rocks every wave, and then suddenly it didn't hit anything. And then it just kept not hitting anything. Like, over and over and over and over again. I find it hard to believe that it was luck. The plasma is a little worrying. Because those kinds of mobs, like that specific rig, often has a mini tank buster. I think it's missing something, so it might not. It might have already used it and I just haven't noticed. But mini tank busters makes it a lot harder to be a little greedy, because suddenly you just get like a bonus smackdown. Have you tried doing it 100 times to get extra data? I have not. This is the first time. That is indeed the whole premise. It was more that usually the soloing of the bosses themselves tends to go on for so long that if there was some random shenanigans, the probability that it wouldn't happen before the boss died is basically 0. The plasma thing is immune to arm's length because it only does magic damage, which means that it's also shooting projectiles, which means that it is ranged. So I need to take note of that when I plan my escape. Or alternatively, I just kill that guy. I'll say look out the magi. Hope you're doing well. Indeed, Redmaster, it is possible that the rocks are semi-randomly placed in the arena. It's also possible that they're the same every time, and if they're the same every time, it's possible that the circle AoEs that are like there by default and not targeted at players specifically are just never pointing at those 3, so that you, at least if you play it right, will always have as much time as you need. Fantastic. Second boss started in under 27 minutes. Look, it's the Borzoi boss. Didn't I do it for you? I think this one has a stack as well, but It's not very impressive that I remember that if it's true, because almost every boss I either walk up to them and go, I think they have one, or I think they don't have one. And it's just a coin flip whether I say one or the other, and it's a coin flip on whether I was right or not. Isn't it impressive that I guessed correctly on the 50-50 again? I did it, maybe. I will play this bit safe. As safe as I can. Because I have a tendency to at least get hit once every time I've done this fight. Specifically to that mechanic. Exactly 75,000. Nice. That's pretty good. Oh, here it comes. Oh. That's not too bad. Now the question is how often it comes back to that mechanic. I don't want a bone stack. So the multi-stack is I'm using Damnation as the loop track here. The fight loops at like just about like 85 seconds or so. That's going to get really awkward. I will probably eventually be missing Rampart and Damnation, or I will have to do something really fancy at some point. Ah! Well, the next loop I do have Damnation, so it might be okay. This might work. I just have to be not stupid. I'll say Kraken Mo. Hope you're doing well. And Hobo-san, hope you're doing well as well. I'm just gonna go over here. I'll just hang out over here Cower in fear. Yeah, it does seem like it's just I can loop it just right, so I can just alternate like a half a kitchen sink each time. So I just need to keep doing it and not mess it up, and then we're fine. I think hanging out over here might do it. And the next one we have Damnation for. Very nice. Fourth left? Or 2 ninths? Ah. And the reason why I'm holding on to Holmgang is exactly because it's a little bit of a... It's a good one to have in an emergency. It's also one that is not always the best to use when you have nothing else. I might just use it for this upcoming bit. Yeah, as Kat says, it's like, if you don't have any reason to go down to 1 HP, then don't, because it's going to be really difficult to recover from that. Unless you have, like, Equilibrium ready on hand. So thank you for celebrating 7 months as part of the Cult of the Pink, Sally. Thank you so much for the support. The last boss is probably going to be the one that takes the longest. because it's going to waste a lot of time. But it spends an absolutely ludicrous amount of time just standing around. Hey Kaj, hope you're doing well. And as some of you may recall, the greatest mistake a boss can make versus a solo warrior is doing avoidable attacks. And raid-wise, attacks that are spread evenly across the party in value. Oh, some of these have tank busters, I think. It's probably the Thunder Spirit thing. I don't know, Lukadamaji. Meso Terminal was... I should have used Blood Wedding first. I don't know why I skipped that. Meso Terminal, aside from the first boss, was really easy to solo. Simply because the second boss was not... Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. I thought your point was in regards to the difficulty of the dungeon specifically. I do suppose that Meso Terminal's second boss makes those runs more interesting. Hey Shakespeare, hope you're doing well, and Happy New Year! The thing that makes the first boss in Meso Terminal a little scarier to solo is that its tank buster comes with a dot that you can just remove. Like you can just use a Shuna on it. And because there is a solution like that, that of course make the damage to a point where the healer might feel incentivized to do that. So when you don't, it means that you're gonna take a lot of damage. So Phil, hope you're doing well. I will say there's something about this dungeon that if you ask someone who was really into FF9, then each boss is extremely memorable. But if you ask someone who didn't play Final Fantasy 9, then there's a good chance that they'll be like, I don't know, there was the weird snoot horse question mark. Because all of the bosses in this dungeon are references. The bosses are not memorable in Final Fantasy 9 either. Well, I mean, the point is more that the thing that makes the bosses memorable at all is that they are references. Which is to say, the simple fact that someone that might recognize them goes, oh, I know that, is what makes them special here. Also, hey Obsidian, hope you're doing well. The long horse. I will say, among the 3 bosses, that is the weirdest looking one. By far. And then it also has like a body tail, you could say, that draws attention to its big snoot. Like, it, just to further emphasize it. If you didn't think it had emphasized it enough, it has a huge snoot and it has a mechanic that makes its huge snoot glow. Just call it Rudolph. Hey, mister. Hope you're doing well. And Uber Penguin, hope you're doing well as well. You know, I'd rather run and make sure my cooldowns get back in cycling order again, rather than make it a tight one with Rampart right now. Two bosses in a row with purple lightning. You know, there's an interesting point if we were to include bosses outside of this particular dungeon. If we check the last, like, 3 dungeons, it's quite a lot of bosses with purple lightning because of this whole 9th setting, isn't it? I believe there's a lot of bosses, actually. I forgot to actually use something. Let me just wait for Blood Wedding again. Truly, Electrope has many uses. Indeed. Makes sense, but it's also frustrating. Yeah. Electrope has many uses. Doink. If the last bosses are vaults, I'll lose my mind. Well, as I said, I'm guessing it's going to be really long. Good luck, Taldemar. Let me see. I'll just wait for some cooldowns to recharge, just to be sure. But we reached the final boss in 47 minutes. Actually, under 47 minutes. Oh, sorry, that's what you meant, Samir. My bad. It could be a waltz, practically speaking. Hey, Naomi. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Light God. Hope you're doing well as well. Come back! You must die! Come back! Oh. That was a safe spot. I'm gonna do this many times. Get ready. I think this is good. Right. The thing that is really important is... Oh, right, there's this, bruh. Haunted Mask. I hope you're doing well, Haunted Mask. If pretty much complete is maybe a jumping to conclusions. Let's see if I can keep this together for long enough that I don't die. And hey Rust, hope you're doing well as well. And thank you. My man, you really like jumping. Yeah. That was an almost exact 90-second loop. Do you not have a stack mark or anything, buddy? No? Okay. Fair enough. Well, that was always allowed. If he just loops that forever, then he has a problem. I'll say, Bread Bean Queen, hope you're doing well. It's been a bit, hasn't it? No. Well, genuinely, if he doesn't have anything else, then this is over. And we were only a quarter of the way through. And hey, on tempo. Hope you're doing well. Boop, boop. Is this fine? Oh, fantastic. Give me your uptime spot. I'm just gonna use Damnation this time. It's like, I would say like an 88 second or like maybe 87 second loop. So just using Rampart will gradually get run out. But, wow. Not that that will be a problem. Avoid many uptime and drag out the fight? No. The boss is already dragging it out quite a bit. How long ago did we start? On this specific pull, I mean. I reached the boss at 47 minutes. So the question is, how long did I wait before pulling? Hey, Necrophytes. Hope you're doing well. Boink. Meow. I mean, it's a cool and unique mechanic. It just looks really, really awkward when it's just a tank fighting it that is like, nope. 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 Could make it stash a half-room cleave. You know, the funny thing is, when it started doing that, I looked at the boss expecting that. Like, it glowing like that. I was looking like, is one of the sides brighter or something? Like, what's going on here? Is there something? And, yeah, surprise, surprise, there was not. Boink. Oh, I parried it too. Wow. You know, a funny thing that often happens in these solo challenges for me, it's almost more frequent that it's the second boss that is the hardest than the final boss. So, come to think of it, this potential ending isn't that surprising when you really think about it. Also, hey, Boobamet, hope you're doing well. Except Moldskull, that's a good point, but I mean, it was more like, commonly, it's the second boss, especially when you look further back. Oh right, this was not that. For some reason I was thinking of the dash. How's the rest of the dungeon? The first boss was very easy. It leaves 3 rocks untouched every single time, so as long as you don't goof it up yourself, you will have plenty of save spots. The second boss, I'm not very good at the dashes with the orbs, so it got a little sketchy sometimes with some Vuln stacks, or a Vuln stack. It also has a multi-stack marker, which actually kind of hurts, and a tank buster that actually kind of hurts. And its loop was like 85 seconds, so I had to alternate using Damnation for it and using Rampart for it. And I wanted to use Damnation every time if I was given the option. I was not. Oh. The free uptime left on the table. No! My toe! I got sparked in my toe! It was a really stupid time to lock myself into Primal Rend. I'm very happy that I have a gap closer in this fight. And I'm also very happy that the boss just jumps 2 inches to the side the first time like that. Come back! Blech. 1/8 left, guys. We're almost there. I think there should be a safe spot for me here. Yep. Meow. I'll jump with you. Boink. This boss took about as long as this whole dungeon takes sometimes. At least you got a satisfying final hit, yeah. Yeah, that was very soloable. The real challenge here is that for any other job, mainly a tank probably, is that you only have 30 minutes extra to work with if you wanted to say, oh, I don't know, play Paladin or Gunbreaker or... I don't think Dark Knight is a very good choice for it. Due to how much less self-healing it has. But I will say that TVN would have a field day. Super potions. Well, if you brought ultra potions, you'd get an extra 40k every minute. It's not nothing. How many 100 dungeons are soloable? All Dawntrail dungeons are soloable so far. Every single one. And for reference, or for comparison, I suppose, Endwalker dungeons, Fell Court of Troya has a DPS check that is unbeatable. And Tower of Babel has a DPS check that is unbeatable. There is technically a DPS check in Alexandria K. The problem is that it's not that hard. Looks more than doable for both Paladin and Gunbreaker. Oh yeah, that's why I'm saying the thing that would make it challenging for Paladin and Gunbreaker is more that it'll take you longer to do the trash packs. Like the AoE pulls. And because the Griffin at the end really drags out the fight, that could be a problem. Troya has a DPS check. Troya has 2 DPS checks, actually. The first boss has a DPS check. Technically, the last boss also has one of those ultimate attacks. But given that it's an AoE pack that you have to beat, it might be fine. The problem is it doesn't matter. You can't beat the first boss solo. For Shadowbringers... Amarot's second boss has a DPS check that you can't really beat. However, Blue Mage can beat it very easily. If you, like, here's an interesting thing, is that sometimes the conversation comes up of, if you put a dot on an enemy and it becomes untargetable, is it then always invulnerable? And the answer is no. But usually. Like, a lot of raid bosses become invulnerable while they're untargetable. But the second boss in Amarot, if a Blue Mage puts Mortal Cringe on it, or aka Mortal Flame, and just really takes their time with the ad phase, then the boss will take damage through the whole thing. And Don Meg has the second boss, which it does reduce. It's a joke, Medusa. When we did Amarot as Blue Mage, the joke was that the boss died from cringe. It's an infinite duration dot. And splattered on them. The boss doesn't come down until you finish the ad phase, so the boss will keep taking damage from it. And yeah, Don Meg, while the second boss only summons enough seedlings for itself and each player, making it a little more reasonable. It's still too tight, because while you and the boss both get empowered, when you hit a very, very specific... when you hit a specific stack count, the boss just gets like fully buffed, and then all of its auto attacks become insta-kills. You can invuln it, but that's not enough time. There's also the part that the boss just generally does so much damage that you kinda need like healing potions to keep up, even as warrior. So you don't really have gem drafts, I don't think. Yep, they do share cooldown, just had to check. For Stormblood, Gimlet Dark, the DPS check at the end is too tight, I believe. Oh yeah, Fractal Continuum Normal has a DPS check at the end, but that's actually very beatable. You just have to like square up and use a damage pot and stuff. This the last boss in Hell's Lid has technically a DPS check, but it doesn't one-shot you if you fail it, so... Oh yeah, Bottom's Medal is soloable. However, the big AoE pulls at the start of the dungeon are actually extremely hard because they have so many range mobs that I highly advise against doing them. Alone. I think that's it. So, no Gimlet Dark. And then Heaven's Ward. There's going to be a few more dungeons that I don't know because I didn't do all of the optional ones. Balesar's Wall is soloable, but it's such a close one that let's just say that it basically comes down to RNG. Like the second boss does so much damage that you may need to get lucky. Like you need to be lucky with crit heals and stuff. And the final boss does not actually chain anyone if you're alone, so that doesn't count. That isn't there. Coupon libraries should be made unsoloable just for me. Oh, it's the first boss, sorry. I thought it was the second. Don't they both do a lot of damage like that? One of them uses launcher. The other one just does a lot of damage. I don't know for sure, but there's a very high probability that Anti-Tower is also not soloable. Launcher is the first boss, fair enough. Yeah, Balesar's Wall, I know, is, I believe in the soloing community itself, is considered so hard that it is like like normal to just go, I'm just gonna unsync it. Because it's too hard otherwise. Red solo Dancy Tower with level sync. If it did, then then the things that I think makes it unsoloable don't happen. The thing that I'm thinking of is the first and the last boss. The first boss turns you into a frog for a while, but that just goes away with time. The last boss turns you into a doll for a while. I don't think that goes away without, like, intervention from other players. But if the boss just doesn't do it, which, like, Balesar's Wall has a mechanic that just doesn't happen if you're alone. Oh yeah, if Arf, the final boss, has a DPS check, that is a little too tight. And the Aerie. As you know, you kind of have to unsync it, and even then, like, you might need a little bit of gear, actually. You can't just walk around in underpants. But yeah, compared to other expansions, Dawntrail is like 0 for 12. But see, something that is important to keep in mind is that a dungeon being soloable by warrior doesn't necessarily make for a bad dungeon or an easy dungeon. It just happens that the boss, the mobs are just not strong enough to beat a warrior that is, you know, knows what they're doing. Right. I think we will have a little revisit to Zale Darkhold. But before that, I will be right back. In the meantime, Manatee restored. Alright, I'm back. Zero sacrifice might be theoretically possible, like Susano was. I think the big question on Seed of Sacrifice is... So something worth mentioning that I know for a fact because we did it on stream is that if you have a full party doing Seed of Sacrifice Extreme, you can, with a normal 2 tank, 2 healer, 4 DPS party, kill the boss before his intermission with the limit break and all that. But you need 8 players to do that. The question is, does the normal version also allow you to do that? Because it's possible that the normal version will just, when you hit him down to 1 HP, he'll just be like, nope, you have to do this story bit. And we can't possibly know without checking. I wouldn't be surprised if someone have checked. But you'd probably need a full party to try it. Because he cancels out of what he well, he doesn't cancel out of. When he finishes a cycle, he will try to do it. And he's pretty fast. Could you unsync normal? See, that's actually what I mean, Penguin. That was exactly what I was talking about. Is I don't know. Maybe he will stop at 1 HP, and you would need like a light party at least, if not a full party, to do it in time. Anyway, Zale Darkhold, they're revisiting. Is Darkhold 46? Yes. So last time I did Zale Darkhold solo, that was of course before the rework. So, and I did it as Scholar. That of course might give the suggestion that that would be the perfect job to test whether it feels easier or harder to solo it. To do it with the same job. So that's what I'm gonna do. Before I actually zone in though, let me just bring out my potions in case it somehow ends up mattering. Actually, I would rather fight them. Because I have a feeling that I will have to kite some things. And if these are in the way, then I have less kiting space. That's right. I want the whole tunnel for kiting. Specifically. post AR solo duty attempt. The reason why you probably wouldn't bring a healer is actually because once you get past AR, a lot of the bosses start to have tank busters that are simply too strong. Yeah, unsync, that makes sense. The problem with healers isn't so much... is like the specific weakness of healers comes down to if they don't have enough HP to survive the hit, then it doesn't matter that they have the healing to heal up afterwards. Like, they basically have a more advanced version of the main weakness of warrior. As in, oh yeah, warrior can heal up real fast. Well, how much damage is it? Oh. So if you're doing it unsynced, then you can of course have like however many levels it takes to be able to survive the hit. And that's also like that's also the reason why when I soloed Keep Up the Lake, I did it as Scholar, is because Scholar had enough HP to take the hit and heal up again. So as long as you have enough HP to take the hit and heal up again like this, then healers are really, really strong at soloing. But that's the key. You have to survive the hit. But you can solo Balthaz's Wall if you tank enough, or if you kite enough. I think the bosses will do too much damage. The ranged mobs at the beginning ruin that. For the most part, you can just do one pack at a time, and you should probably be fine. It's mostly the bosses that are a huge problem for healers. And, of course, the duty timer. Is there a ranged mob here? Well, wherever it is, let's start with the jerk anglerfish. Hey Noodles, hope you're doing well. You know, the soul there is in retrospect, I should maybe have laid a little more power on that guy. And not get stuck on the terrain. Soul is carrying the team. Play of the game. Just see the DPS meter for the mobs. Oh. That's a GCD I'll never get back. Falca, hope you're doing well, and good to hear it, Noodles. I would say so. We managed to clear Mistwake in just about an hour. The last boss took like 12 minutes on its own because it likes jumping around. Is it just 2 dudes? I think it's just 2. It's like one of those like running stages in Crash Bandicoot. I can't see where I'm running because I'm looking at the enemies instead. Yeah. And they removed the crew. Yeah, that is true. I believe when I did this solo last time, I pulled pretty big and just carried things into the crystal light and just out of wall spammed. So just this bit is longer now. Can I skip the last pack? Or the last mobs? Can I just run past into the boss room? Maybe. Maybe. Or maybe not. Dun 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 dun. Fantastic! Nailed it! This boss might actually be harder now. Might. I'm very curious whether this works. It does. Guys, the all-seeing eye is kiteable. Kinda. Seeing eye needs glasses. Yeah, that's a fantastic point. Due to this kind of situation, I have a feeling that Orum Vale might also be easier. The big emphasis on might. Because I don't know if the tank busters are going to hit harder as a result of them having cast times now. Like, they might have been readjusted. And specifically, the final boss chases you down. And I don't think it used to do that. There was no time to do that. They removed a lot of the poison puddles. I didn't take damage from the poison puddles when I soloed this, soloed Orum Vale. So that's basically whatever. Hey Shaq, hope you're doing well. This room seems more empty. Based on the size of the AoE pull, I can assure you that If you try to do the path you normally do in Orum Vale, the first room is going to be about the same size as normal. Going to be very exciting to see if Scholar versus the Zale Darkhold gets the first boss faster than Warrior in Mistwake. I think this will be faster. By a little bit. I'm wondering if I should just not bother kiting it, because it spends so little time actually attacking. So I might just get free copy value out of it to just stand my ground. Ah. You must die! And to be fair on that one, Boobamet, it's like one of two actions in the game that write the damage reduction in reverse like that. Flip. I just wanted my ether flow. Now we have the second part of the dungeon that is basically unchanged, I think. Like, pretty much unchanged. Oh, they pull together. Fantastic. Will you drag me in? Ow, ow. Ow. There was the pull-in. That's the reason why I was focusing that guy first. That can quickly get very dire out of nowhere. Do you auto-attack, or is it just stone with you? Do you have anything else? Oh, you can miss. Okay. Nostalgia-wise, the changes to both Zale and Orum Vale are pretty oof. The changes to Orum Vale, I would say, if they made it so that the first and last boss was a little bit faster to do their stacking debuff thing, it would probably be fine. I don't think it needs anything else other than that. And then we're pretty good. And as others stated, the goop on the ground, the effect of it pretty much never mattered. Like, once you figured out, oh, that hurts, you just don't step in it, or rather you go through it quickly, and then occasionally you'll take a little bit of damage from it. So it's like, it might be better to just not change it aesthetically. Just leave the goop and then just remove the effect. And then none would be the wiser. And for Zale, I do feel like it's a shame that they took out all the Magitech terminal stuff and the first third with the Crystal Light and such. But I will also say that the Crystal Light stuff essentially made for a dungeon where if your team knew how to do it, it was basically like, it didn't do anything. It was just a meh section that like almost felt like you were indirectly skipping all that, which is a little bit sad. But it's also what made those pulls a little bit unique. But then again, now you can pull everything into the boss room if you want. You can make your own Gigapull now, or make a new Gigapull. That has to count for something. I'll say, Armis. Hope you're doing well. I think there's also the part that while these weird gimmicks and tricks and fancy in the old dungeons are really fun and nostalgic, I would also say that it would make more sense to use that dungeon real estate to teach the new players how more modern dungeons work. And then leave the weirdness to newer dungeons. Although that's probably not gonna happen either. And if you do that, then what was the point of changing all the old dungeons? So there's a little bit of a no way to make everyone happy. More weirder optional dungeons, that's a good idea. And actually the dungeons that were changed this time around were optional, so I do see your point. The optional dungeons should be the quirky ones. And the thing is, I do want to add that Orum Vale and Zale Darkhold are not really optional in like as optional as you might like them to be. Because they have, you know, requirements related to grand companies and such. You might say that's also optional. Yeah, but I think that there's a lot of things that unlock through that, so it might not truly be optional. It's optional in the same way that any other content that unlocks like more content behind it isn't exactly optional if you have any like even the remotest interest in that. How's you, Sog? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, exactly, Naomi. Something like that. That it isn't really optional because that, like, that unlocks a lot of other content. It's all optional all the way down, but it becomes less and less possible to justify that, oh no, it's optional, you can just not do it, when there's like several things that will force you to do it, to unlock that. Like Gold Source, it's optional, but there are events tied to it. A little bit like that, but also you can't, there is actually an MSQ quest that sends you to the Gold Source, and if you haven't unlocked that yet, then you have to. I'm glad to hear that, Armis. Thank you so much. And welcome. Weak. Lizard! Hey, can you guys come with me down to the blast zone where I fought the other guys? I prefer fighting in this other hallway I'm more well acquainted with, where there's less explosions and potential enemies that will gank me. I need a big wide area so I can run in circles around you. Bruh. Keep up, Hedgemole! I have to get rid of its body so we can have a 1v1 lizard fight. Although apparently I'll have taken it all like over halfway down with my dot before that happens. Hey Beige, hope you're doing well. I'm surprised you aren't using Repose to sleep them, because I get to sleep one guy per GZD, and Repose has a cast time, so I'll have to like tank a few hits to get it running. So like the benefits are outweighed by the downsides, I think. I used to do that when I soloed like Sastasha on Scholar. I used Repose on the mobs. I put a dot on them and then I reposed them. In fact, with that lizard, there could be a justification for just sleeping that guy, so I didn't have to kite anything. I could just sleep the lizard and then just punch the soul. Not like you're saving Swiftcaster Raise, that's true. But Repose is single target still. So yeah, one guy, you know, it's a good tip. It's a good suggestion. I should probably do that. May I suggest pronouncing Hedgemole in a similar way to Hegemony? Hegemole? Hegemole! Sleep the lizard and punch the soul. Fun fact, they changed this boss. You can't attack him while he's entering the arena. You have to wait until he has actually entered the arena before you can hit him. Which healer shield is more durable? They're equally durable. Hey Majima, hope you're doing well. Wow! Falcon! Plunge! Turns out not all of the rocks are avoidable. Ow! The reason why Repose is not on the hotbar is, as you can see, normally I have a mount and a teleport button on my hotbar. They are also missing. Scholar has too many things, yo. Ow! It's funny how that doesn't have a warning. It just suddenly claps you. Just... That's actually a little scary, because they do have enough power, like passive damage and stuff going out, that they can get me down to the HP where you could one-shot me straight. 18 Lee, hope you're doing well. Mistwake took like just shy of an hour. And I'd say the hardest boss was the second one. Ow. Oh, right, my dot. He really stops and really revels in that punch, doesn't he? Oh, right. Just go up on the ledge. Oh, yeah. It actually gets even more complicated than that, Jewel Tones. At max level, Scholar has protraction and recitation and Fey illumination, of course. Sage, on the other hand, has Physis, which increases healing received, which would work and would help, and Krasis, which increases healing received, and Zoe, which makes the heal like 50% bigger. So Scholar has a more reliable option in recitation, and also Scholar can use deployment tactics, which is like, that's like the real big difference. That's really what makes them stand out. And Sage doesn't have that. But they have, arguably, if you're just lucky enough, Sage has the capacity to produce the bigger shield. Now, the key is lucky enough. Why do some mentors do really, really big pulls in Sunken Temple of Khan? Because they can, Sok. Some players can handle it, some can't. I don't recommend doing, like, absolutely mega pulls with randoms, because you don't know if they can handle it. I usually try really hard to figure out if my party members can handle it before doing something like that. But the bees, I have a video where I show off some of the biggest, like, craziest mega pulls in Final Fantasy XIV. Oh, this might actually be a problem. I think I'm straight up dead. I need to figure this one out a little more smartly. Can they be slipped? They can. Well, I'm dead. I'm getting interrupted. I'm getting interrupted. I like how the lizard just moved a bit while it was still sleeping. Ah, too soon. Sleeping the lizard, punching the soul. Indeed. The surprise meme no one expected to suddenly return. You know what's gonna be real scary? 4 of those guys. See, what made this room a lot easier originally is that used to be 2 separate packs. But yeah, in the video I made on the hardest AoE pulse sock, I grabbed my friends and did the biggest possible pull we could at the start of Sunken Temple of Khan. And I instructed my team to have a kill order on the bees if necessary, and I brought paladins so I could stun, chain stun them if needed. And we killed them all before it became a problem. So the problem mainly is that if you have a mentor doing giga pulls for a party that can't handle gigapulls, then things go bad. The packs are unionizing. I'm gonna see if I can get a crit shield to start this pull with. I'm also gonna eat a cookie. Gimme big shield. I'm getting trolled by the game. Can I have a crit? Game. Would you be nice and give me a crit? Oh. Can I have a crit now? It's been 84 years. Did they patch out the possibility of a crit? Hey! Right. Let's see here. They're not as strong as they used to be. They used to have a better move. The skeleton is sleeping, don't question it. Yeah, exactly. Don't worry about it. I'm just saying I used to feel like 2 of these guys were scary. Because when they got up to you, not only did they, like, they did that. I feel like it did more damage, but actually maybe I'm remembering it wrong. I feel like it used to do more damage. I might be remembering it wrong. I'm willing to suggest, but I'm remembering it wrong. Wait, that suggestion with repose ended up coming in clutch. Pew. Pew. And yeah, exactly. They used to be 2 packs. Like, that whole room used to be 4 separate packs. You had two souls and 2 souls, and 2 skeletons and 2 skeletons. Now they just, like, squeezed them together. Well, actually, I think it was 1 soul, and then a soul and a skeleton, and then, like, 2 skeletons and 2 skeletons, which is why they squished them together exactly like this. Oh, right, sorry, yeah, a lizard. A lizard. Lizard, lizard, lizard. The reason why I marked them is so that I have a better idea of which ones I slept in what order because of diminishing returns. That's also why I didn't just try to chain sleep them or anything, because you need to, like, let them be awake for 30 seconds for the diminishing returns to end. Dun, 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 dun. Skull issue. It's what do we call a muscle tissue? Question mark. I love puns. I love puns. Hey Jazzy, hope you're doing well. He's clearly skeleton up about that. Hey Balvia, hope you're doing well. You could do that, yeah. You definitely would be able to do that. But then I would have died. But you could do that, yes. I'm fishing. There's not a lot of fish in the pond. Oh, never mind. There was one. A funny thing is, a little bit similar to what I was saying about Orum Vale, is that because bosses spending time on casts means that you suddenly... Oh, that is really lucky. Means that you suddenly have a lot more time to recover from things. Means that in terms of soloing a fight, the boss stopping to cast something like that is a problem for their ability to kill me. Like, every time they stop to do that, I just get a free Ad Loquium cast. Whereas when they didn't have any casts, I would sometimes just get swiped by the spin on its own. And they would generally not fall behind. They just chased me all around the room, all the time. And I had to use moments like this to, like, set up a barrier before, like, re-engaging. That's 3 in a row. So, similar to the Orum Vale thing is that if you boss designer, give a boss... Yowzers! A cast that they didn't have before, you may need to speed up some of the other things that it does to compensate. That's 4 in a row, what? What in the deck of cards kind of RNG? Ow. I hope that can't crit. Guys, we ran out. We ran out of crit cards. When I did this before the rework, I used that wall to line of sight the boss because of those orbs it throws at times. And the sack boy, hope you're doing well. That is weird. Oh. This funny how, like, he was, like, gradually wearing me down. Like, very slowly. Dink. Bro? What? He just really wanted to try out the range DPS lifestyle for a little bit. Whoops. I'm just styling on him too, as you can see. Ow. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, Doronek. I don't know if he can. And I'd rather not find out. I don't think he's done Grim Halo in a long time. I should be close to him a little bit more, I think. So bait it. Oh, that's a lot more damage. Oh, and he can do that. That's not a good idea to do that, buddy. You shouldn't do that. That's a DPS loss for you. Should absolutely not do that. Or that. It's going to be a sad day if we discover that he can crit with it. Excuse me, coming through. Oh, yep. Why? What did Kabi do? He's just hanging out, wiggling his paws. Oh, I parried that with my book, I guess. You're really goalkeeping over there, huh? That's a really convenient crit. Boink. Book tank next. Well, then we'd finally have the holy trinity of books. Hey, dead man. Hope you're doing well. What's the quest to change Grand Companies? Oh, I don't actually know that. Are we backseating bosses now? Yes. For a second I thought Kabi was floating. So that was pretty good. My situation with Zale Darkhold was originally I went in as Scholar because of the Ruin 2 shenanigans you could do. I think I also tried as tank, but initially I simply had trouble with the final boss. He did too much damage. But then eventually I came back to it and realized that all that kiting shenanigans I did, like running around the wall and stuff, was just enough to make it work. So that was nice. But it is weird that the 4 skeletons seemed like they were made slightly easier. Aside from that, I didn't really notice any mobs being specifically any easier than they normally are. You could try Balezar's Wall. Not possible synced, I don't think. Yeah, something like that, Red Master. The first third of Zale Darkhold is actually arguably harder than it used to be. Because if you do the pulls you normally did, you don't have the crystal's light anymore. Like, you just don't have it. So it's the same dungeon, just without the I win card of, oh, yeah, you take no damage. The second third is unchanged, but to be fair, that was changed ages ago. So it's just late that the rest of the dungeon got updated, you could say. And the final third has this weird thing with bunching all the mobs up in 2 packs, which almost made it a problem. If I had wiped to the 3 souls and a lizard without being able to kill anything, then the run would have just been over, just like that. If I was unable to find a way to just kill one thing. But if you can kill just one thing, then you can, just go, kill one thing, die, come back, kill one thing, die, come back, kill one thing, and eventually you'll have cleared the whole pack. It'll just take a long time. And there are some packs like that in Dawntrail dungeons as well. There's one of the packs at the very start of Yokatomo. You might be able to do it without doing that, but if you don't do your cooldowns just right, you'll just die, but you should be able to kill one of them in time. There's also 2 guys in Wargozormo that do kind of like that too. But because you can kill one, that's good enough. Speaking of good enough, I'm thinking we should also try a new Orum Vale. But before we do that, I'll have to be right back. In the meantime, Manatee restored. Alright. I'm back. And yeah, the story there is also that originally when I went through Orum Vale, I did it as Scholar. And the main difference, the big difference is going to be the first and the last boss. I have a feeling that all of the rooms are basically going to be the same. Because the packs that I would fight are basically unchanged. Basically unchanged. I'm gonna take out this frog first. Just in case. Come to me. Wow, you're slow. You're a big boy. What's really funny is if you run into that glowing wall, it'll actually ask you if you wanna... Oh, right, they reset. Never mind, I'll have to fight you over there, right? What a trick! Yeah, you have to fight me where I am, because if you don't, I'll just reset. I'll just fight you, like just gank you from behind when you're fighting something else, and then you'll have to reset me. I would also add on the Balthazar's wall thing is that if you try to do it synced as something that is not a tank, then while there is the thing with one of the bosses doing percentage damage, that would be easier, but then, you know, the rest of the duty. I do see how it looks more empty, but I do see this pack, and that pack over there largely adds up to what you'd normally fight in here. Which of the 4 healers do you think is the most involved? Astrologian, probably. And the goop not being in the room, of course, makes it easier to kite around. And there's definitely less packs in the middle of the room, which matters if you're soloing, but doesn't if you're doing the dungeon normally. This room was definitely more packed with mobs. So that does mean, looking at this, the main motivation to do the thing that we normally do with leaning hard left while running through this room is that you might be able to avoid one of the frogs. And maybe you'll avoid the jellyfish over there. Yes, more packed with packs, exactly. So you'd probably still do the dungeon just the same. It's just that it's a little less critical. That like a first timer tank is like, oh, you have to know the trick. Like you have to pull it just right or else stuff. If I recall correctly, these guys will, in addition to shooting at you, also auto-attack you if you're in melee range. I will just test this. Oh yes, indeed. In that case, I'll just be over here. It's like a shootout. Bang, bang, bang! Ow, ow. Ow. Hey, Seraph. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, exactly. Apparently, that's an ability. Or a G-City or something. And they have an auto attack separate from that. I don't know why I'm using the instant cast version while standing here. I should be casting Ruin 1. In this specific context, it is the best option. Did you know the plants are blind? You just check something. Oh, good. Why does Scholar get an instant cast Ruin? Summoner needs it more. Summoner used to have it. Okay, for a second I thought this was going to get really stupid. I'm like, are you just gonna send that when I'm not there? Yummy fruit. Yoink. So when I did this before the rework, I basically had to just like run in fear at all times and just hope that I happened to have a barrier every time it used the tank buster, because the tank buster could do like 80% of my HP or something like that. And I just had to hope that I could get it right and just run as much as I could. Now that it has a cast, I can just put up the barrier when it's like, I'm gonna do it, and it goes blap. The new debuff is indeed that one. It just says you can't eat another fruit because you already had one. It's also possible it just didn't do that much damage, and the reason why it was scary was because it could crit. And it could overlap with an auto attack that also could crit. no, there it is. That's a lot of damage. If that could crit, it would just be a one-shot. If it did, I think. The weirdest part here is that it has to run up to me to make the decision to go, oh, wait a minute, I actually wanted to do this. Oh, fruit. I'm going over here. Screw you. I'll be here if you need me. And you got anything? Oh, you want to tank Buster, of course. I'll be over here if you need me. Be over here. Just hanging out. I'll be over here. Ow. That's really funny. Has to come up to me and be like, Sir, I will be serving you this tank buster in a few seconds. All right, get back here. I have to serve you this tank buster. Here you go. It's exactly like the Nero tank buster. Yeah. Hey Kitsu-san, hope you're doing well. I have not. I run Savage on Saturdays. With my static. With today. With Saturday. With that today. However, as some of you probably know, I have been participating as a commentator on the race, so I have seen all the bosses. If you're curious about my opinion on something, I have seen the bosses. I just haven't done any. Glad to hear that, Kitsu-san. I did do it today. It was actually really funny because I was sitting there in the waiting room, ready to go on when Lucretia had their 2 or 3% pull and then wiped. Like we were like, is it over? Like, was that it? Or what are we doing? And then they wiped. And we're like, oh, okay. Well, quick switch. And then we sat there for 2 hours and a bit, getting like 4 or 5 pulls that were just like that. Right down to the wire. And then, I think like 20 minutes after we finished, that's when they got it. Which is good, they got it. World first seeing it as the live commentator was stolen from me. How will I ever recover? I feel like if it was stolen from anyone, this rather specific context, it would have been Lizzie. He sat there for 4 hours. I'm saying sat there as if it's some sort of punishment or something that was unenjoyable. Absolutely not. It was very fun. $27 for the whole set. Yeah, that sounds about right. 26 or 27. And Considering, by the way, that 12 of those hours were all the final boss phase 2. I was on Mock Talk, yes. Both yesterday answered. I was on right when Savage released. And then exactly 24 hours after that. $500 miles. Who got world first? Lucrezia. JP team. They also got world first on Howling Blade. Whoa! This guy slaps. What the? Nah, yes, the classic 800 auto attack from a mob. Meanwhile, the boss just prior swung for like 400. And yeah, M12 looks crazy. Definitely. Good night, Mistle. Why do we call the Arcadian raids M? Because A was taken, and there's straight up there's an M in the each bout's name, which refers to match, of course. But that is the reason. It basically boils down to A was taken because Alexander exists. And we call coils T, yeah. But I believe yeah, exactly, because they have turn in the name. Not because it starts with the. Although, that would have been really funny, and I absolutely did think that was the reason at one point. Now that's big brain lollipop pizza. Just wait until others disconnect, so they can't be there to compete on the loot. Speaking of loot, it's free real estate. A mossy horn. A mossy horn. In retrospect, I shouldn't have pulled all that. All that. I'm gonna have to skedaddle. Mercadian. Mercadian. It would have been interesting seeing you casting Savage, but it would ruin my intention to blind clear them. Yeah, I had a feeling that you would have that problem. Oh, I should have been using Lucid Dreaming a lot sooner. Hopefully that won't come back to bite me. Oh, hi! What? You're late! And yeah, I do recall that some wanted to call it Arcadion because of R, you know, round. Both because of round, so like not get confused with the M that will like undoubtedly be M1234, M1234, M1234 as it ended up being. But also because R after A. But whatever. Shrug. I actually, at least initially, referred to them as both R and M, but given that R just didn't catch on, there was no point in adding extra confusing by calling them both or only R. Oh! Just got it straight off the bat. Okay. My barrier actually ran out. Oh boy. Miss! You're tanking the 100 for 100 ton swing? Probably not. Run. Wonder if he can still be stunned? Probably. You know, I will test something. He cannot be sleeped. Oh. But imagine if he could be. How long I have not been auto-attacking him? All that damage left on the plate. It's free real estate, and I didn't even get the real estate. Such real estate loss. Did that always hit that hard? I believe that one has always hit that hard. Like overall, I'm like 99% certain that coin count is completely unchanged with this rework. Because he already got changed years ago. Originally, he didn't have telegraphs. You just had to look at him and go, oh, that's probably a cone. And surely that one is something where you have to get away from the front of him, and it's definitely not like a donut hole shaped safe spot in front of him. Such real estate loss. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It gets a little sad when you have a boss like this that is so weak that as long as you dodge, he can't do anything. Like, he can't actually do anything. I think stuns and interrupts are interesting. The problem is more that in a lot of cases, to make it fair and balanced, you need to have like the target that is stunnable and interruptible have a lot of things to use, so you can't just completely shut them down without a lot of good play. We're almost there. About 1/6 left, guys. In a 7th. And an 8th. And a 9th. And a 10th. Now we passed the 20th. And here he comes. And splat. And here comes a bit that they definitely made a little easier. I'm pretty sure like half the pack was removed. And there was indeed a patrolling pack. But I feel like the part of it that wasn't a patrol was also made smaller. They removed the bats. And I believe the patrol was not bats. Was that wrong? The blue bubbles. Yeah, I believe one of the souls was removed, and then the other one is like further down. And I think it used to patrol. You can patrol over. Oh no, that one is still there. Is it the other one that is gone? I think there was both a yellow and a blue. Hmm. Wow! A Dodore wing! You shouldn't have! Thanks! What? Huh? I realized that I could just walk past, and then the opportunity to walk past went away. Yeah, the room just before coin counter had the pack that is in the center now was the left or right pack. Then there was a jellyfish patrol in the middle. And then they just removed one of the side packs and removed the patrol and called it a day. If you observed a small stutter in the stream, it should be fixed. I just had to fix it while also not dying. Diego when he ran too far down the hall. Right. In this hall? That's pretty funny. That explains why it felt like when you just went full blast down this way, that it just felt like some of the mobs were just gone. Sometimes it was because the mobs had been killed, but sometimes it must have been because some of them just reset. And now, are the two big marbles one pull now? Not quite. A little bit stronger than I expected. Ow! Will you reset if I run you down this hallway? Wait, why is your auto attack 200 damage? Oh, because I had a barrier. Right, okay, fair. Certainly not gonna run away from that if it was just 200. That would be what some would call free. I'm just styling on him. You hold that. I'll be on my way. Oh, you caught up. Hey, Hungry Grim. Hope you're doing well. Do you get pulled with your fruits, buddy? You don't. Fantastic. I mean, just do it the same way as before. And then we just do a little loop-de-loop and run back down the hallway. Hey, can you keep up, man? And bloop. The excruciating task of soloing Orum Vale? Well, because I already finished soloing Mistwake, and I also soloed Zale Darkhold, and I'm doing it for fun. And to see if I can. Oh, that's a little more rough. Let's see if we can get a crit shield before we get those. Why is one of them just standing there? Why is both of the big ones just standing there? I just... There's no point in that barrier after all. It's just gonna tick out. Ow. Ding! Those big ones really like to fall behind. You guys have too many attacks. Ow. Ow. It's making you fall behind. You're slow. Don't be slow. Makes it really awkward for me. Pew. Pew. I was expecting them to be dead by now. I expected you to die, Mr. Banemite. Not enough people and not enough sign-ups, Zav? Give me a crit. No, okay. How about... Wouldn't it be funny if I got a crit right now? Oh. My luck has run out again, I think. Is my crit chance so low, game? Just give a crit. Oh. A surprise! Oh. You consider just... Yeah, I know. Yeah, I should have just... that's what I should have done. I should have just crit. But here I am. Not critting. Oh. You know, I had a brilliant idea. The brilliant idea is I'll just stand here. Although actually it does hit pretty hard, so maybe it's worth running. This feels familiar. A funny little detail about the fruits in this fight is that they are not just able to remove the Burrows effect. It's a complete full cleanse. So if you end up getting hit by bad breath, eat the fruit. Munch that fruit. Take notes from the AI tanks and duty support and stand in the goop. Will you use hooked burst? There it is. Which deep was that the moon flute effect? Okay. Oh, it just occurred to me, this boss is slightly smarter. Because it can queue up the tank buster, even when it's not in melee range already. It'll just queue it up, be like, I wanna do it. Ow. We're almost there. Or we're halfway there on the final boss. And not even. Lemon on a pear. I'm glad to hear that, Koi. And now we are 4/9 of the way. There's 2/5 left. Hey! Boink! Hey Muels, hope you're doing well. One-fourth left. And we've passed the 1/5. And now we're closing in. There's a 1/9 left. Probably wasn't needed to do that. I wasn't sure if the barrier I already had was hurt. And the 1/20th. Munch. I'm eating so many fruits. $49. And most definitely, this was easier than the pre-rework version. The main contributing factor to that is the first boss being easier. Because before the rework, when soloing it, you basically had to kite it like a maniac to just minimize the damage it was doing. But unlike here, where you the boss basically gives you like the time to like set up Atlo and just wait for it. Before the rework, it just ran up to you, and sometimes when it reached you, instead of just slapping you with an auto attack, it just double slapped you with a tank buster on top, and that could be it. Which meant that in addition to doing damage, you also needed to make sure that at no point were you below like 85% HP, which means a lot of unnecessary healing because you didn't know when it would have been necessary, and you just have to guess. You just have to guess. I don't know if this is still a thing, but also before the rework, there was a cheese strat, I believe, where you could get like the first boss stuck or something, where it couldn't attack you back. I don't know for sure because I never used it. But I heard that that was a thing. But we did it. We managed to solo all of solo the newest dungeon and the 2 rework dungeons synced. And it was no big deal. No wipes. Not a single one. That makes it sound like there was one. There wasn't one. The hardest boss was probably the second one in Mistwake tonight. And the second hardest... the last boss in Zale Darkhold. And the easiest was coin counter. But like it's not even close. A coin counter can straight up not kill an on-level scholar as long as a scholar dodges. Which I think is pretty funny. But that was actually everything that I had planned. It's only slightly over time. So, first off, before I go on all the other stuff, remember that we have a daily stream tomorrow. Around the same time as usual. And then Saturday, my Savage team will get into the new Savage tier. I'll see how well it goes with Vamp Fatale. But on that note, if you would like to be part of the Discord community server, you'll find a link to that in the chat right here. There you will find the weekly schedule where you can see what else is coming up in the coming days. I usually update it Sunday or Monday. You'll also find the announcement room with links to videos and streams and I put them out. And if you grab the reminder role in the role assignments room, you'll get a notification whenever I post a video or stream. And there's an extra one around 15 minutes before stream starts, so you can catch it right when we go live. And if you'd like to support the channel even more directly, you can follow, like, subscribe, become a member, super chat, cheer, all that goodness. If you don't like any of that, there's also the Ko-Fi link that Ardell posted right there in the chat. It all helps support me and the channel directly so I can focus on doing stuff like this with all of you. So thank you so much for the support. But that will be it from me tonight. So good night, good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending where you are in the world, and I hope to see you all very soon. Bye bye!